After You was first released on PC back in 2020, where it received mostly positive reviews from the people that played it. Now, 3 years later, it's coming to the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and Switch under the name After You Level Escape. It appears to be the same game with the same frustrating puzzles, only now with a baffling new subtitle. I have no idea what level escape means, but I do know what I think of this game. And this is my review of After You Level Escape. After You has one of those intriguing mystery setups that you can't help but get sucked into. It tells the story of Aaron, a man who wakes up one day to discover that something terrible has happened. His family and neighbors are missing, a truck ran into his fence, there are abandoned cars everywhere, and it kind of looks like somebody may have murdered the family down the street. What's going on? Are we somehow connected to all this violence? And more importantly, should we be fleeing the scene before more cops show up? In this case, we decide to stick around and investigate, unraveling a story full of secrets, lies, and infidelity. We learn about the neighbor's marital problems, the rich family's criminal dealings, and a local bar where just about everything seems to go down. Of course, that was before everybody in the small neighborhood went missing, a mystery that continues to haunt our protagonist as he pokes around the other houses. After You is the kind of game where you mostly just walk around looking for pieces of paper that will advance the story. These are diary pages and confessionals from all the people who have mysteriously disappeared. The story bits include everything from lurid details about affairs to clues that'll help you solve the game's many puzzles. You see, when you're not picking up pages of the story, you'll be looking around for solutions to the puzzles. With rare exception, pretty much every puzzle revolves around some sort of keypad, usually connected to a safe or a door. This means that you'll often need to look for a 3-digit clue in order to type the right password. Of course, it won't be that easy, and a lot of the puzzles are completely nonsensical. In fact, I'm going to highlight 2 early ones to show you exactly how frustratingly obtuse they can be. In one example, we find a series of alcohol bottles with 3-digit codes. Clearly, this is a password for something, but where's the keypad? As it turns out, the second floor has a bunch of rooms, each with a number. Even though they don't really look like buttons and haven't been clued in that we're supposed to hit them, these apartment numbers are in fact the keypad, something I discovered only when I was desperately clicking everywhere. In another puzzle, you'll need to count the number of outlined body parts in a particularly gruesome crime scene in order to open up the family's safe. That's a pretty cool concept, but it makes absolutely no sense. In order for the family to come up with the password, they would have had to have seen their own murder and crime scene outlines. Once you realize that the puzzles are being done for the player and are not organic to the world Aaron is existing in, it completely breaks the illusion. Now, it doesn't help that the initially compelling story keeps getting sidetracked for no reason. There's a whole chapter in this game where you have to visit a small town that has been completely decimated by a tragic mudslide. Much like before, everybody is missing, but the whole thing feels like busy work. We find the shovel to dig up the remote control, which will eventually lead us to the destroyed house, where we'll find a key to the gas generator. Oh, and if you think that's bad, just wait until you get to the office where we're tasked with literally throwing away garbage. Yeah, that's a real puzzle in this game. Unfortunately, it's not just the puzzles that let this game down, but also the writing, specifically the localization. This is a game developed by K148 Studio, a Spanish company that is making a game that is set in the United States. The result is a game with a lot of grammar problems and some unintentionally funny translation issues. To show you what I'm talking about, here's a letter that you can pick up that was supposedly written by an American cop. And I quote, "I have been in the body for years, and I've never seen anything like it. Neither I nor my companions are used to this. This is a very quiet town, and most we have to deal with some drunk, and that's it. But what I have seen here today will not be forgotten in my life." Alright, look, to be fair to the developer, it's easy enough to see what the translator was going for. When they talk about being in the body for years, it's clearly they mean that they're on the force for a long time. Similarly, they probably meant colleague or even partner instead of companion. But we all get what they're trying to say. The problem is that every page of the diaries and confessionals are filled with these types of errors, creating a game where nobody sounds authentic. I didn't buy that this was America for even 1 second. And that's a shame, because the visuals are actually pretty good. I like the simple, low-polygon design. There's an eeriness to the early sections that truly left me unsettled. I'm a big fan of the way the wind whips through the grass and the trees, and I could see this being used to great effect in a better horror game. The graphics are easily the best part of After You. Now, that's not to say that you won't have any fun exploring these 3 environments and solving their puzzles, but the game seems to go out of its way to make things as frustrating as possible. Hell, there isn't even an option menu, so don't even think about changing the camera controls. There's a solid setup here, but everything that comes after that is a crushing disappointment. Coming 3 years after the PC original, it's a shame the developer K148 Studios didn't take that time to tighten up the puzzles and improve the localization of After You level escape. This is a mystery game with an intriguing setup and a striking low-polygon look. Unfortunately, all that is undone by a series of nonsensical puzzles and a story filled to the brim with hilarious grammar mistakes. There's a kernel of an idea here that had a lot of potential, but the potential isn't enough to overlook the obtuse puzzle designs and meandering storyline. Escape while you can. Hey, thanks for watching our review. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new reviews and features almost every day. Now, here's the question I have for you. What video game has the coolest mystery? That's a big question, so I can't wait to see what you come up with in the comments below. In other news, we'll be back on Sunday with a new episode of 10 Things We Learned This Week, followed by a review of Skinny and Franco, Fists of Violence. Yeah, trust me, you're gonna want to be around for that review. While you wait, I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Till then.